Okay, so good morning. This morning we are at Clyde Lawson Veterans Residence. It is July 30th, 2024. My name is Payson Tilden, and our note taker is Judy Vance. We are interviewing today for the Library of Congress Veterans History Project under the auspices of the National Society of the Colonial Dames of America in the state of Florida. We are here today with George Bubenheim. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Bubenheim. And we thank you, George, very much for being with us today, telling your personal story. I'm excited you have a book and you're going to share that with us. So I'll let you begin wherever you would like.
Okay, I have a story here. It's about killer ants, sleeping with killer ants. I wrote a book, and this is one of my stories in my book. I'll read this from my book. We never arrived at camp location until dusk to hamper VC observing our positions. There was always a predetermined location where we had to camp. It was very vital. We stayed in a designated grid location if we needed support and to prevent friendly fire. On one occasion, we had to hump at a location covered with beehives of fighting ants. We had to keep completely covered all night. Every night we could relax. We had to dig foxholes and cut trees and bushes down as far as possible in front of us, at least 100 feet. We ate our sea rations after we went to sleep. And then we went to sleep. Everybody had a few hours of standing perimeter security each night. On average, we had about 4 hours of sleep per night. Shelters were made from our ponchos, but very seldom did we remove our boots and clothing. During the monsoon season, we stayed wet and had to sleep in the water. I remember taking my rotted boots, my boots off after 2 weeks, and my socks had rotten away. I think we gotta extend this to another page here.
Oh. I think it was.
I'm sorry, I'm
No.
not much reading mine.
Okay, let me see if I can
It's-
find the next page. It was 40.
40, before 40.
So I've got one that starts with steel fragments. Oh, off including boots in there.
Okay.
There's the top of it right there, yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm not much
Oh.
reading my own stuff either. Okay.
At the top of the page was where you were taking your boots off and your socks.
I just finished telling it by,
Okay, yes, do.
by memory.
All right.
We had to stay at this position all night, and the ants were biting us all night. We had to cover our faces all night and our bodies because the ants, we couldn't eat. The ants were like thousands on our food. And it was just miserable all night long. Nobody slept. We left that place, everybody's all had red welts all over them from the ants. I don't know what kind of ants they were, but they lived in the trees. Big hives, worse than bee stings.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
That's one of the worst nights. But
Oh my heavens, that's amazing. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got into the military and ended up in Vietnam? Just in your own words?
that's probably better than me explaining it by
Yeah.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I wrecked my father's car. He had a brand new Tornado, a '68 Tornado. First year front wheel drive cars
Uh-huh.
And back then, you could buy a brand new big size car like a Cadillac for $6,000. That's a lot of money. Anyway, the insurance guy said I couldn't drive for a year. So I couldn't live like that. So I thought I better go into service. I just got recently out of school. I graduated from high school. And I was in pretty good shape because I played football. And so I thought, well, I'll go in, service, and see what I can do. My father, my uncle, everybody was in the Second World War. That's all they talked about is the military. So I wanted to go in. I was probably stupid. My friends all called me that because I wanted to go to Vietnam. And everybody else said, no, I don't even want to go into service. So anyway, I joined Army. I wanted to be a photographer. So I said, I gotta go in right now because I can't drive anymore. They said, you can't get in for another year yet because that photography school isn't open. So I said, okay, I'll go in the Marine Corps then. So I joined the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay.
And I went to boot camp. We got sworn in at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, a halftime game with the Cubs.
That's a neat way.
Yeah, we were supposed to be all together in Vietnam. And go to Vietnam together and everything. But as soon as we got to boot camp, they split us all up, like the Marine Corps would do. So I was one of two people who got 100% on my test. Before you graduate, you have to pass a test, a written test. I made 100%. So
Awesome. That's
the
wonderful.
drill instructor called me into his office. He said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to drive a tank in Vietnam. So I didn't get to do that. They made me a machine gunner. An 0331 machine gunner.
Oh my goodness.
But when I got to Vietnam, there was a mortar team got killed. And so he says, I'm gonna put you in mortars, you don't mind? I said, no, I don't care. So he says, take a mortar tube up on the hill and practice blowing trees up. I went up, took a box of 60 mortars, 60 by mortars, and started blowing targets up until I got good. And then come back, sorry, I'm skipping all over here.
That's okay. Tell it like you like. So what happened after you learned to be a mortar?
So we went up on Signal Hill in Vietnam, and it was so beautiful over there. The country was beautiful. It was hot, but it was beautiful. I thought to myself, why would they ever have a war in this place? It's so peaceful, beautiful. Streams. I was up in the north in I Corps. We're in a jungle. I never seen a rice paddy the whole time I was over there.
No.
All rice paddies were south.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I was in mortars mostly the whole time. There's times I could fill in as a machine gunner if they needed one, but it was I made rank pretty fast because as you progress from ammo humper to gunner, you have to be a corporal. So I went from private to corporal in a couple months. But we got in a firefight. I got wounded in March. I got in the country January. I got wounded in March. I went on a hospital ship Sanctuary. I was on Sanctuary for probably about a month and a half. I went back to my unit. But I took my camera with me. I bought a camera on the hospital ship. I took it with me. So I did get a lot of pictures. Second tour. But I just don't know where to go from here.
So, how long were you in Vietnam altogether?
I was in Vietnam 11 months. Nixon pulled us out 30 days before my term was up.
Okay, so you were.
So I had to go to Okinawa.
Mhm.
Okinawa, I had to testify at a court martial. So they kept me in Okinawa for an extra 3 weeks. And then I came home.
So you served a total of about 2 years in the Marines?
After I come home, I had a 30-day leave.
Mhm.
And they sent me to Norfolk, Virginia. And I had sentry duty at the main gate at Norfolk. And then I got orders for 8th and I, Marine Corps, 8th and I, Washington, D.C. I was in Washington, D.C., security. We did Camp David. We had Camp David. We had security. And I stood honor guard at Pentagon and executive offices. We had cordons at the White House. If you don't know what a cordon is, you have Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, all the way up on each side of the driveway. When a car comes up, everybody goes, salutes with their rifles all the way up to the main gate.
Oh my gosh.
And my main job was firing parties at Arlington.
So you must have seen lots of dignitaries, and
This was under President Nixon still?
I shook hands with President Nixon at Camp David.
oh my.
Yeah.
I haven't met anyone that's been to Camp David. That must have been quite interesting. Lots of secret meetings there and
A
things.
lot of snow up there.
Lots of
Thermometer,
snow.
a lot of snow up there. I remember one day I got off duty. We was on for 3 days and off 2. Anyway, I come out to my car and my car was completely buried. Antenna was sticking up. They did get a lot of snow up there.
Oh my, I did not realize that. So how long were you on duty at Camp David?
We just did that in the winter time. We give the platoon, they were going on Christmas leave. So we'd support them with Christmas. I went up there, I spent like a month up there.
Mm.
And I came back down. That really wasn't my job. My job was, and then every Friday night we had a parade at 8th and I Barracks. We had a parade for all the tours coming in. You can probably see it on YouTube, 8th and I parades.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did Tuesday, we had the same parade at Arlington at the Eagle Monument every Tuesday.
Okay. So you were basically stationed around the DC area for how long?
I was there for 2 years
For 2 years.
until I got out. I got out as sergeant.
Okay, a sergeant when you
Yeah.
got out. That's
When I was there, everybody there had to be E4 above,
Mhm.
had to be 6 foot tall, and had to be a Vietnam veteran.
To be in the honor guard.
To be in the security when the time I was there,
Yes.
everybody had them. So basically, everybody there was E5s, E4s. And
What is probably the most interesting thing you remember about serving, I mean, really directly to the president?
well, one day we had a detail at the executive offices. Margaret Thatcher. I just laugh at this. Margaret Thatcher, I'm not saying it right, was visiting vice president. So we asked the individual, 2 people at the steps going up, 2 people in the door, 2 people outside her office, his office.
Oh my.
And so we had to start marching in the van. We had a bread truck, we'd start marching in a bread truck. We'd march out of the truck and step all the way up post. We never called gates because we had steel heels on our shoes. And we marched all the way up to, and I had to stand out in the hall. That was my job. And we had a couple people with relief each other. Everything had to be military sequence, you know, posting and whatever. And the tourists are all taking our pictures too. There are like hundreds of tourists at the time. So anyway, the admiral was in charge of us at the time. He come on and says, "Okay, you're not needed no more. You guys can leave." We had a Sergeant Peters who was in charge of our detail. He marched us back to the bread truck. We got in the bread truck. We're all settled in there, go back to the barracks. This admiral come out and says, "The Vice President wants to talk to you. Wants to thank you for your job you did." So we marched back upstairs. All of us marched back upstairs to the office, the Oval Office upstairs. That's the executive office. That's not in the White House. Anyway, we marched up to the Oval Office. We're waiting in there. This admiral comes in and says, "Vice President Agnew can't visit. He can't visit." And he's like, "Yeah, but he gives us some matchbox with the Vice President's seal on it."
Oh.
And we all just left them on the table and marched back to the bread truck.
Oh my goodness.
Give us a matchbox.
A matchbox with this, with the
Vice
crest on
President,
it.
yeah.
Ah. For
I mean,
all the time you
all that
spent.
time
Yes.
wasted going back upstairs.
Why do you call it the bread truck? I'm assuming that's the
That's what
vehicle.
it was. It's like it looked like a bread truck.
Okay, and that was your movement, your vehicle for going back and forth. to the
There's no
back.
seats in it because we weren't allowed to sit down once we put our uniform on.
Oh,
Because it would break the seals in our creases in our trousers.
oh my. You don't know that sort of thing. That's
Yeah, we
interesting.
put our trousers on, stand on a chair with our shoes on, and somebody would sit there and look. We had to have our trousers right at the heel of our shoes. And we masking taped our trousers to our t-shirt, put our dress blue overcoat on.
Oh my goodness.
We were the only unit in the Marine Corps that wore white trousers.
Oh wow, that was quite an honor. It was quite a special group you were in. Yeah.
And we were the only ones that had blue overcoats.
Okay. That's
So
very,
Dress Blue was the only company, the only people in the Marine Corps.
oh wow. So what others, did you meet any other special dignitaries besides Margaret Thatcher in that
I
time?
was up at Camp David, and the press secretary talked to me for about an hour. I can't think of it. Ziegler was his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He come down, and we weren't allowed to talk to anybody like that. They told us not to talk to anybody. But he come down, he insisted I talk to him. He wanted something to do. He come down from the log cabin where the president stayed. He just wanted to talk to somebody normal, he said.
So he basically interviewed you as the Marine, was asking you about being in the service and
Yeah,
being a Marine?
yeah, he was interested in knowing what I thought about Vietnam and different things. Like, you know, he was interested in knowing what I felt. But
I'm interested that if we can go back to Vietnam on how beautiful a country you thought it was. Did you keep that feeling as the time you served there?
it was just, I always thought though, in boot camp, they should send you to a slaughterhouse at first to get used to killing, because it's really,
That's hard.
it's hard.
Yeah, yeah. Not all good memories from being here, I'm sure.
Good and bad, good and
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. So, when you got out, what did you do next? When you got out of the Marine Corps, did you not want to make it
I
a
wanted to go to
life?
state police, but their class was full. So they said I had to wait for 9 months. Again, I said I'm not gonna wait, so I went to school. I went and signed up to go to college. And I went the first day, second day, the college when the teachers went on strike.
Oh,
So I waited that out for about 3 months and they wouldn't go back. So I got a job driving an armored truck.
so you were still an armored truck, like
An
for
armored truck,
drinks?
we all
Yeah.
money, yeah.
Yeah.
We got robbed at Kmart one day.
Oh my goodness.
But I wanted a job where I could carry a gun.
And was that a leftover from just you felt more comfortable after
Yeah.
being in the military?
Yeah, I felt more comfortable and I joined a security company,
Okay.
did armored, security. But then I was married at that time with 3 kids.
Oh wow.
When I got home, I started a family.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife didn't want me doing it. I got a job offer for a big oil company on her rig. But I would have to be gone for like 6 months at a time.
Oh.
It was paid really well. I could have paid for my house in a year.
Oh my
The money
goodness.
they was offering.
So you were like, so where did you work? What oil rigs?
No, I turned it down because my wife didn't want me doing it.
Didn't want you being away. Of
She
course.
and when I turned around, I got a job driving a truck,
Okay.
semi truck. So I drove a semi truck back and forth through the country. I'd be gone a month and a half
Mm.
anyway at times.
Yeah.
And then excuse me, I wanted to get into something a little bit more comfortable. So I bought a bus, bought a motor coach,
Mm-hmm.
started a company. I ended up having 3, 4 buses and a trolley. And I had a company, I kept going and going and going with my companies. I had 2 Greyhound stations I operated.
Oh my goodness.
And with my company, I had a fleet maintenance company. And at my peak, I had like 60 people working for me.
Wow. That's quite an enterprise.
Yeah, and then my wife left me, so I sold everything and came to Florida.
Ah. And how long have you been here? Okay. How long have you been here?
Since 2002.
Oh, okay. So you're
I came to
practically a
Florida.
Floridian.
Yeah, and I said I'm going to get away from owning anything and running any businesses. So I got a job driving for a bus company in Florida.
Uh-huh. Where were you before when you got out of the Marines? Where did you stay in the Washington area or
No, I moved to Pittsburgh,
to Pittsburgh?
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
And that's where your tour bus area, your motor coach business was.
I moved to Ohio. Youngstown was my business.
Oh, okay.
Charter Max Bus Company and tours. I sold tours all the United States, and I had drivers. We did a lot of casino runs,
Ah, okay.
but my wife left me,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I remarried and come to Florida.
Okay. So you remarried, you
I
said?
remarried.
Yes,
again.
and you and your new wife came to Florida.
And she wanted a house, so I bought her house in Palm Coast South here.
Oh, all right.
But
That's nice
then we split probably about 3 or 4 months after I bought the house.
Huh.
I went to work driving for Vivo Tours.
Mm-hmm.
And Vivo Tours, we bought a new motor coach. It's about $700,000.
Oh, my.
New Prevo. So we spent the next 13 years driving tours around the country.
Oh, my. Well, you got to see a lot of the United States, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I visited most all cities in the country.
That's
we did
amazing.
some nice, like 30-day tours out west.
Yeah. What do you think you would say to young people today about joining the military? Do you think your life was influenced a lot by that? I mean, not the bad parts, I know, but just being in the military, a part of the Marine Corps. I know they're very close.
Well,
Do you recommend it today to young people?
I think it's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're smart and you got money, get on your own and start a business. If you're if you're smart and you don't have money, go to college, let them put you through college. Get a job in the service. A lot of good jobs in the service.
Yes.
I think it do a guy good. Then you have a lot of benefits. I got sick about 4 years ago. I have a brain disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Started.
Mm.
So
So it was helpful to have the military benefits.
I'm in a nursing home now that
Yeah.
they're paying for.
Yeah. So,
I would have never been here. I would have been probably sitting at home trying to get by. So this is good.
this is a good thing for the
Yeah.
military, yeah. They do have a lot of good benefits.
It's a great place,
They do.
yeah.
A lot of benefits.
Yeah.
So if you're young and you don't know what to do, go into service. Go into something that you want to do, don't let them put you in something.
Yeah.
Both my sons were in the Navy.
Oh, good. Good. My son is too. So, yeah.
My oldest son wanted to go in the Marine Corps. I said, I'll break both your legs. You go in there.
Well, I'm glad he's in the Navy. That's good. What are they? Are they on ships? Or are they fires? What are they?
They were both on ships.
Both on ships. That's great. And they are they going to make it a career, or are they just
No,
starting?
they're out. They're
Yeah,
out. They're
yeah.
old now. They're in their 50s.
Okay.
They're out. And both of them, they did their time.
Mhm.
Got out. You know, yeah. And they both enjoyed what they did.
Mhm. Do you think they benefited as you have just from being in the service, that whatever they did are doing now? They learned a lot from the service and it's helping them in starting their own businesses?
I think it straightens you out, especially if you're in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good thing to do.
But they don't take you in now unless you're pretty smart. Can't be, so you have to go through high school, complete high school, get smart,
Yeah,
and then go in. Even the infantry now is high tech, computers and
right.
scanners and everything. I mean, you can't be a dummy.
No, it's a whole new scene really in the military than what it was.
Yes, and everything is computerized, now,
Yes.
everything.
But learning that in the military certainly sets you up for a lot of different careers after you're out.
Yeah, then you do have all the points. I turned down a lot of good jobs
Mhm.
to try to keep working myself.
Mm-hmm.
I turned down a job at the post office. I still kick myself in the butt for doing that.
Yeah, that would probably be
A
a
lot of
good
good-
extra pension,
good
wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah,
benefits,
yeah, it
too.
would have been good instead of me being an owner-operator running trucks.
Yes, good.
2 minutes.
Good. 2 minutes, okay.
Okay.
So, if we have just a couple minutes more here, is there anything else, any other story from, your military service that you'd like to share that you can think of? Tell us a little bit about your book, because I hope we're able to share this with the Library of Congress. What made you write this?
Well, my kids never knew what I was doing half the time, even when they got older.
Mm-hmm.
They never, I'd call them up and I'd talk to them, but they never knew what I was doing.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I'll write this, you know, and then this is sort of my journal on my life and what I did and stories about Vietnam and about the bus companies I
Yeah, I
started.
would see that, yes. So that is great. Well, I hope when you reprint this, that we'll be able to keep in touch and get a copy of this.
Absolutely, I'll send you
To
a
include, because I'm sure that the library would be very pleased to have this, particularly with your photographs. They're excellent. So,
One thing I can tell everybody, take a lot of pictures of everything.
of everything.
Everything, your cars, your house, your
Mhm.
family. Take pictures and keep good. You have a lot of good apps now for pictures.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
keep them because you might want to write a book someday. And you have
Right.
pictures of
Okay,
them.
can I hold this up and see if you
Yes.
see this?
Yeah,
We're
that's
in-
great.
Yeah, just a second or two.
Perfect.
Yeah, so this is wonderful. I really look forward to getting this, because I think you're right. You've made the record, which your family, but a lot of other people will
Yeah.
enjoy.
I sold probably 50 copies. of
Oh my
this.
goodness, that's wonderful.
I just sell it to them at cost.
Hmm.
Costs about $20 a book.
It will be a pleasure to get a copy of that from you then.
Yeah.
When your new printing is out. When do you think you'll do that?
I have 3 more stories I have to put in.
Okay.
After that, I'll send it to printer.
Okay, just let me know. I'll leave you my card, and then if you will send that to me, that would be great.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, I'll do
Would like
that.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to share with us today. Yours is a very interesting story, and I bet there are a lot more stories in that book that we will enjoy.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah. We are going to also leave you a package, and if you would fill this out in a week or so, you get
I'll
that
fill
all
that
right?
today.
Whoop.
Today,